Welcome back, warrior. Okay, we are again brushing this time. So we are on section 104 of Doctrine and Covenants. There are 76 verses. So this is going to be split up in a couple ways. We went to the temple this morning and that was awesome. Got to see one of my friends. It's always awesome when you can see a sister that you know. Okay. Of this time, so here's the historical background. Of this time, Joseph Smith wrote a letter to Orson Hyde, which read, "The fact is, unless we can obtain help, I myself cannot go to Zion. And if I do not go, it will be impossible to get my brethren in Kirtland, any of them, to go. And if we do not go, it is in vain for our Eastern brethren to think of going." End quote. Joseph Smith to Orson Hyde, April 7th, 1834. This is one of those things where I feel like it's kind of the same. Like, if you don't go or if you don't do the job, then it's not going to get done because you didn't go. And, like it's that exchange, Have you ever done something where you can't like delegate or you feel like trapped? It's like you can't go, but if you can't go, then how are these people not going to go? Like if you don't go, then these people don't make it happen. And then anyways, that would have been frustrating. So Joseph and other leaders were trying to build up a small army to take to Missouri. This army will be known as Zion's Camp. However, before they left, they needed to address the United Order. Read the background of Doctrine and Covenants 82 in these study pages in the previous. And so 2 of the businesses that were involved in the United Order were now destroyed or in trouble. The printing press in Zion had been destroyed, which breaks my heart. As you know, I have a print shop. Would not think that is cool. And Sidney Gilbert wouldn't run his store in Independence now that they had been driven out. That makes sense. He does not want to be in danger, right? So this put the entire United Order at risk since it was in debt, and now the destroyed businesses were not even able to bring in the money that they needed to, right? So on top of that, the saints were still under the command to build the Kirtland Temple, and now we're assembling Zion's Camp. Imagine how much Zion's Camp alone would cost. Hundreds of individuals were traveling 1,000 miles and then staying in Missouri for an unspecified amount of time. How was this all to be done? Through this revelation dated April 23rd, 1834, the Lord gave instructions on what to do. This revelation stated that rather than being completely dissolved, the united firm or order was to be redistributed or reorganized. Its properties were to be divided among the members of the firm as their stewardships. Okay, so here we go. Let's read the section heading. It says, Revelation given through Joseph Smith the prophet at or near Kirtland, Ohio, April 23rd, 1834, concerning the united firm. The occasion was likely that of a council meeting of members of the united firm, which discussed the pressing temporal needs of the church. An earlier meeting of the firm on April 10th had resolved that the organization be dissolved. This revelation directs the firm instead be reorganized. Its properties were to be divided among the members of the firm as their stewardships. Under Joseph Smith's direction, the phrase united firm was later replaced with united order in the revelation. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to pause because my legs are currently hurting because I did not stretch before this. Okay. Verse 1. Verily I say unto you, my friends, I give unto you counsel and a commandment concerning all the properties which belong to the order, which I commanded to be organized and established to be a united order and an everlasting order for the benefit of my church and for the salvation of men until I come. With promise, immutable and unchangeable, that inasmuch as those whom I commanded were faithful, they should be blessed with a multiplicity of blessings. But inasmuch as they were not faithful, they were nigh unto cursing. Therefore, inasmuch as some of my servants have not kept the commandment, but have broken the covenant through covetousness, and with feigned words, I have cursed them with a very sore and grievous curse. For I, the Lord, have decreed in my heart that inasmuch as any man belonging to the order shall be found a transgressor, or in other words, shall break the covenant with which ye are bound, he shall be cursed in his life, and shall be trodden down by whom I will. For I, the Lord, am not to be mocked in these things. And all this, that the innocent among you may not be condemned with the unjust, and that the guilty among you may not escape, because I, the Lord, have promised unto you a crown of glory at my right hand. Therefore, inasmuch as you are found transgressors, you cannot escape my wrath in your lives. Inasmuch as you are cut off for transgression, you cannot escape the buffetings of Satan until the day of redemption. And I now give unto you power from this very hour, that if any man among you of the order is found a transgressor and repenteth not of the evil, that ye shall deliver him over unto the buffetings of Satan, and he shall not have power to bring evil upon you. What? I'm so confused. So, and now I give you power from this very hour, that if any man among you of the order is found a transgressor and repenteth not of the evil, okay, transgressor did not repent, that ye shall deliver him over unto the buffetings of Satan, and he shall not have power to bring evil upon you. Oh, okay. So that person who has been a transgressor will be turned over to Satan, which it's funny because you think, oh, the Lord's going to do the turning over of this guy to Satan, right? But if you're already doing evil things, Satan has you in his grasp. So it's not even like you made that choice. And so I do think it's interesting how the wording happens, right? Because it is, if you don't repent, of course, Satan is going to keep you bound, right? And then because Satan has you bound, then the thing that the Lord here is promising to do is that that person will not have power to bring evil upon you. Okay. So, but this is like the peeps in the United Order. Okay. All right. And then we have verse 11. It is wisdom in me, therefore a commandment I give unto you, that ye shall organize yourselves and appoint every man his stewardship, that every man may give an account unto me of the stewardship which is appointed unto him. For it is expedient that I, the Lord, should make every man accountable as a steward over earthly blessings, which I have made and prepared for my creatures. Oh, wouldn't this be cool? Like if we had this kind of accounting system, not necessarily from our taxes, okay, but like blessings that the Lord has provided for us, right? And that we acknowledge that they come from the Lord. And then verse 14, I, the Lord, stretched out the heavens and built the earth, my very handiwork, and all things therein are mine, right? And so it's just like a realization, like coming to the knowledge that everything is Christ's, right? And nothing is actually even ours, but we have stewardship over these things. As we are able to do good with them. Verse 15, and it is my purpose to provide for my saints, for all things are mine, but it must needs be done in mine own way. And behold, this is the way that I, the Lord, have decreed to provide for my saints, that the poor shall be exalted, in that the rich are made low. For the earth is full, and there is enough and to spare. Yea, I prepare all things, and have given unto the children of men to be agents unto themselves. Okay, therefore, if any man shall take of the abundance which I have made, and impart not his portion, according to the law of my gospel, unto the poor and the needy, he shall with the wicked lift up his eyes in hell, being in torment. It's true, because we are going to feel bad if we do not obey the commandment that Christ has provided for us. That he just gives us commandments to help us find joy. It's not that he's trying to make us miserable. Let's see. President Joseph Fielding Smith said this: in speaking of the exaltation of the poor, the Lord did not intend to convey, as some may think, that he was to take from the rich and make them poor, but that through this divine law there would come an equality, and in humility all would be made rich in the abundance that would be gathered into the storehouse of the Lord, and every man should be provided with an abundance. End quote. Verse 19, and now verily I say unto you concerning the properties of the order, let my servant Sidney Rigdon have appointed unto him the place where he now resides, and the lot of the tannery for his stewardship, for his support while he is laboring in my vineyard, even as I will when I shall command him. And let all things be done according to the counsel of the order and united consent or voice of the order which dwell in the land of Kirtland. And this stewardship and blessing I, the Lord, confer upon my servant Sidney Rigdon, for a blessing upon him and his seed after him. And I will multiply blessings upon him, inasmuch as he will be humble before me. And again, let my servant Martin Harris have appointed unto him for his stewardship the lot of the land, which my servant John Johnson obtained in exchange for his former inheritance for him and his seed after him. And inasmuch as he is faithful, I will multiply blessings upon him and his seed after him. And let my servant Martin Harris devote his monies for the proclaiming of my words, according as my servant Joseph Smith Jr. shall direct. And again, let my servant Frederick G. Williams have the place upon which he now dwells. And let my servant Oliver Cowdery have the lot which is set off joining the house, which is to be for the printing office, which is lot number 1, and also the lot upon which his father resides. And let my servants Frederick G. Williams and Oliver Cowdery have the printing office and all things that pertain unto it. And this shall be their stewardship, which shall be appointed unto them. And inasmuch as they are faithful, behold, I will bless and multiply blessings upon them. And this is the beginning of the stewardship which I have appointed them for them and their seed after them. And inasmuch as they are faithful, I will multiply blessings upon them and their seed after them, even a multiplicity of blessings. Who doesn't want a multiplicity of blessings, you know? Okay, and again, let my servant John Johnson have the house in which he lives and the inheritance, all save the ground which has been reserved for the building of my houses, which pertains to that inheritance and those lots which have been named for my servant Oliver Cowdery. Inasmuch as he is faithful, I will multiply blessings upon him, and it is my will that he should sell the lots that are laid off for the building up of the city of my saints, inasmuch as it shall be made known to him by the voice of the Spirit, and according to the counsel of the order, and by the voice of the order. And this is the beginning of the stewardship which I have appointed unto him, for a blessing unto him and his seed after him. And inasmuch as he is faithful, I will multiply a multiplicity of blessings upon him. And again, let my servant Newell K. Whitney have appointed unto him the houses and lot where he now resides, and the lot and building on which the mercantile establishment stands, and also the lot which is the corner south of the mercantile establishment, and also the lot on which the ashery is situated. And all this I have appointed unto my servant Newell K. Whitney for his stewardship, for a blessing upon him and his seed after him, for the benefit of the mercantile establishment of my order, which I have established for my sake in the land of Kirtland. Yea, verily, this is the stewardship which I have appointed unto my servant N.K. Whitney, even this whole mercantile establishment, him and his agent, and his seed after him. I think it's interesting that the Lord is being really specific about those things that people have stewardships over. And if he was really specific with us, what would he say that we have stewardship over, you know? And like, how do we treat that? So verse 42, and inasmuch as he is faithful in keeping my commandments, which I have given unto him, I will multiply blessings upon him and his seed after him, even a multiplicity of blessings. And again, let my servant Joseph Smith Jr. have appointed unto him the lot, which is laid off for the building of my house, which is 40 rods long and 12 wide, and also the inheritance upon which his father now resides. And this is the beginning of the stewardship which I have appointed unto him, for a blessing upon him and upon his father. For behold, I have reserved an inheritance for his father for his support. Therefore, he shall be reckoned in the house of my servant Joseph Smith Jr. And I will multiply blessings upon the house of my servant Joseph Smith Jr., inasmuch as he is faithful, even a multiplicity of blessings. Okay, verse 47. And now a commandment I give unto you concerning Zion, that you shall no longer be bound as a united order to your brethren of Zion, only on this wise. After you are organized, you shall be called the United Order of the Stake of Zion, the city of Kirtland. And your brethren, after they are organized, shall be called the United Order, the city of Zion, the United Order of the city of Zion. And they shall be organized in their own names, and in their own name, and they shall do their business in their own name, and in their own names. And you shall do your business in your own name, and in your own names. This would have been super helpful when I was starting my businesses. Let's just do it in my name, right? Remember? Like back in the day, it was like everybody had to have a biz name, but now it's like, let's just do it under your own name. Yeah, that's so much better. And this, I mean, there's different times when you don't need to use your name, but like mostly it's like, let's just use our name, right? And this I have commanded to be done for your salvation and also for their salvation in consequence of their being driven out and that which is to come. The covenants being broken through transgression by covetousness and feigned words. Okay. So George A. Smith says this: the civil law did not afford a guarantee against this people. Consequently, they formed themselves into a combination, a lawless mob, pledging to each other their lives, their property, and their sacred honors to drive the Mormons from their midst. From that hour, the heart of every Latter-day Saint has been occasionally warmed with the feeling, may I be permitted to live until the day when the saints shall again go to Jackson County, when they shall build the temple, the ground for which was dedicated, and when the order of Zion, as it was then revealed, shall be carried out. And it has been generally understood among us that the redemption of Zion would not occur upon any other principle than upon that of the law of consecration. Okay, so this order was the sad loss to the saints. The Lord made it clear that these men should no longer be bound as a united order. He restated again that there were some who had broken covenants through transgression by covetousness and feigned words. There would still be united orders, one in Kirtland and one in Missouri, but they would not be combined any longer. So that was the quote there. George A. Smith, Zion to be redeemed, etc. Journal of Discourses, volume 17. Okay, and then verse 53, therefore you are dissolved as a united order with your brethren, that you are not bound only up to this hour unto them, only on the wise, as I said, by loan, as shall be agreed by this order in council, as your circumstances will admit, and the voice of the council direct. 54. How many verses did I say this was? Woo! 86, right. Okay. I was really hoping for 66. Okay. And again, a commandment I give unto you concerning your stewardship, which I have appointed unto you. Behold, all these properties are mine, or else your faith is vain, and ye are found hypocrites, and the covenants which ye have made unto me are broken. And if the properties are mine, then ye are stewards. Otherwise ye are no stewards. And verily I say unto you, I have appointed unto you to be stewards over mine house, even stewards indeed. And for this purpose I have commanded you to organize yourselves, even to print my words, the fullness of my scriptures, the revelations which I have given unto you, and which I shall hereafter from time to time give unto you, for the purpose of building up my church and kingdom on the earth, and to prepare my people for the time when I shall dwell with them, which is nigh at hand. And ye shall prepare for yourselves a place for a treasury, and consecrate it unto my name. And ye shall appoint one among you to keep the treasury, and he shall be ordained unto this blessing. And there shall be a seal upon the treasury, and all the sacred things shall be delivered into the treasury, and no man among you shall call his own or any part of it, for it shall belong to you all with one accord. And I give it unto you from this very hour. And now see to it that ye go and make use of the stewardship which I have appointed unto you, exclusive of the sacred things, for the purpose of printing these sacred things, as I have said. And the avails of the sacred things shall be had in the treasury, and a seal shall be upon it, and it shall not be used or taken out of the treasury by anyone, neither shall the seal be loosed which shall be placed upon it, only by the voice of the order or by commandment. And thus shall ye preserve the avails of the sacred things in the treasury for sacred and holy purposes. And this shall be called a sacred treasury of the Lord, and a seal shall be kept upon it, that it may be holy and consecrated unto the Lord. And again there shall be another treasury prepared, and a treasurer appointed to keep the treasury, and a seal shall be placed upon it. And all monies that you receive in your stewardships by improving upon the properties which I have appointed unto you, in houses or in lands, or in cattle, or in all things, save it be holy and sacred writings, which I have reserved unto myself for holy and sacred purposes, shall be cast into the treasury as fast as you receive monies, by hundreds, or by fifties, or by twenties, or by tens, or by fives. Or, in other words, if any man among you obtain $5, let him cast them into the treasury. Or if he obtain 10 or 20 or 50 or 100, let him do likewise. And let not any among you say that it is his own, for it shall not be called his, nor any part of it. And there shall not any part of it be used or taken out of the treasury, only by the voice and common consent of the order. And this shall be the voice and common consent of the order, that any man among you say to the treasurer, I have need of this to help me in my stewardship. If it be $5, or if it be $10, or 20, or 50, or 100, the treasurer shall give unto him the sum which he requires to help him in his stewardship, until he be found a transgressor. And it is manifest before the council of the order plainly that he is an unfaithful and unwise steward. But so long as he is in full fellowship and is faithful and wise in his stewardship, this shall be his token unto the treasurer, that the treasurer shall not withhold. But in case of transgression, the treasurer shall be subject unto the council and voice of the order. And in case the treasurer is found an unfaithful and unwise steward, he shall be subject to the council and voice of the order, and shall be removed out of his place. And another shall be appointed in his stead. And again, verily I say unto you concerning your debts, behold, it is my will that you shall pay all your debts. And it is my will that you shall humble yourselves before me, and obtain this blessing by your diligence and humility and the prayer of faith. And inasmuch as you are diligent and humble and exercise the prayer of faith, behold, I will soften the hearts of those to whom you are in debt, until I shall send means unto you for your deliverance. Therefore, write speedily to New York, and write according to that which shall be dictated by my Spirit, that I will soften the hearts of those to whom you are in debt, that it shall be taken away out of their minds to bring affliction upon you. And inasmuch as ye are humble and faithful, and call upon my name, behold, I will give you the victory. I give unto you a promise that you shall be delivered this once out of your bondage, inasmuch as you obtain a chance to loan money by hundreds or thousands, even until you shall loan enough to deliver yourself from bondage. It is your privilege. And pledge the properties which I have put into your hands this once, by giving your names by common consent, or otherwise, as it shall seem good unto you. I give unto you this privilege this once, and behold, if you proceed to do the things which I have laid before you according to my commandments, all these things are mine, and ye are my stewards, and the master will not suffer his house to be broken up. Even so, amen. Woo! That was fast. Okay, so the church was in debt, and the Lord instructed the leaders to pay all the debts. If they were spiritually worthy, then the Lord promised his assistance. Since the early days of the church, the Lord has counseled and set up a system to properly care for his funds. What do you see in these verses that shows the Lord's care and concern with sacred funds? How does he feel about debt? Okay, so I think it's so important too, like during the different callings that I've held, I try so hard not to use the funds that have been consecrated to the ward for, the different programs that were provided, because it's so hard, because it's like, on the one hand, you want to be able to do certain things and you literally can't because you don't have the funds, right? And then on the other hand, it's like, you don't need the funds because there's plenty of things to do that you don't need funds for, right? And then there's like, you want to do it anyway, right? You want to do like something fun or something really worthwhile, or, but you don't want to use the funds because it's like, oh, well, those are sacred funds, right? And like people have fasted for, and some people don't even have funds and then they still give, right? And then there's other funds then there's those purposes where it's like, well, you can do something that doesn't require as many funds, right? And so it's like, well, if you want to really do this one that requires a lot of funds, then just like use your own funds. And I think that's what sometimes we end up doing, right? It's like, well, I wanted to do this superhero theme for ministering or visiting teaching supervisors meeting, right? It's just an example of a picture I just saw that we held when I was Relief Society president. And it's like, yeah, we probably don't need superhero theme, all the things, and like I needed to print certain things, right? But I'm like, I'm not going to use funds to print certain things because that's just like something I wanted to do. I wanted to add that, right? But the basics of things is stuff that's really simple and stripped down from all the fluff, right? And so I like to add a little bit of fluff to make it a little bit more engaging, right? And so when that happens, that's where I'm going to come in with like my own funds. But sometimes then there's nothing, right? Sometimes you can't do anything else except that one activity because you don't even have funds to give, right? And so it's like, okay, well, we'll just do it like this, plain Jane, and that's fine too. So anyway, like I like thinking about, like it just helps you think and get creative, right? About how we can either preserve the Lord's funds or use the Lord's funds in a more sacred way. And the ways that I'm always wanting to use funds is like service opportunities, right? It's like sometimes that's the only thing that I can justify being shared with. Like, it's like, well, we're going to have an activity. Well, we better just use funds to do humanitarian project, right? Because I think that's more worth it. And we know that service binds people together. And so like that not only helps the people that we're going to serve, but it also helps us because we get to serve together, and people who serve together stick together. Anyway, so anyway, those are just some things I think about. So it's like, what are you planning to implement in your life from these teachings, right? And what could we learn from these? All right, so this is it for this section. We're going to read a little bit. Section 104. It says, it's in yellow, I can't even read it. The stewardship is a careful and responsible supervising or management of something entrusted to one's care. What has the Lord given to your care? Be a good steward. I love that. Okay, until Doctrine and Covenants section 105, stay strong, warrior.